Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going in Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's show, we've got an AEW Rampage review.
Why are we stumbling on this already?
I don't know. I was looking at it and then I lost myself. On today's show, we're reviewing AEW Rampage from Friday. Battle of the Valley results, including Mercedes Monet winning the IWGP Women's Championship. Monet. AEW might be starting another new show with an interesting name. And then we're also going to talk about, but later on in the show, who won the Elimination Chamber Predictions Challenge. 3 people tied, but we'll find out who it was coming up later in the show. But first, everybody's talking about Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, and given what happened during the main event of Elimination Chamber, it's possible that Sami Zayn could be added to the main event of WrestleMania, but is WWE actually planning on doing it? Larson, give us the answer.
You want me to give the answer or Dave Meltzer to give the answer?
I'd like you to read the notes, please, sir.
All right, sorry. According to Dave Meltzer in a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, the answer appears to be no. That's what Dave had to say. Quote, I know what the plan was as of even a week ago, and it was Roman and Cody. It's not Sami being thrown in. Could they do it? They could always change. I thought watching the Cody interview with Sami, maybe you do make it a 3-way. Look, I was told they weren't going to do anything with the Sami thing, but you always go, it could always change. I'd be pretty darn shocked if Sami is added to the main event WrestleMania. There's always ways they could have, like I think we talked about this before Elimination Chamber. They really want to get that pop in Montreal, have Sami win it, have him win it there, have Roman win it back before WrestleMania. There's ways to do that. They want Roman losing those titles to happen on the largest stage possible. So it's going to happen at WrestleMania. What we saw at Elimination Chamber could totally justify Sami being added to the main event. But that being said, I think once the story gets going involving Jay, given what happened in Elimination Chamber, it should be pretty clear, okay, that's the story heading to WrestleMania. And for now, Sami's going to have to take himself out of whatever beef he has with Roman to make things right with Jay.
Mm-hmm.
And after he makes things right with Jay after WrestleMania, then if he wants to pursue world titles or get a win over Roman or something like that, I know Roman will be champion probably at that juncture, do that. Because if we're going to get a teaming of Sami and Kevin Owens, it's going to be interesting if at any point during their tag partnership, if Sami's like, hey, I'm feeling pretty good. I feel like I got my confidence back after the match with Roman. I want to pursue singles championship opportunities as well. Well, given Kevin Owens and Sami history, especially whenever Sami wins the top title, there's a recipe there for a good story too. So,
dude, what you just said is right. Story. I saw a clip of Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez going on and on about you should have switched the titles in Montreal. It's all scripted, so you should do that. Why don't they do that? And then Dave was talking about, and it's not surprising because Dave Meltzer is so enmeshed in wrestling history. He is probably the greatest. Him and Cornette are probably the greatest wrestling historians we have living today. And that's to their credit. That is a compliment, right? However, the Bloodline story is unique, and you cannot look at it through that lens. Dave Meltzer said Sami Zayn is a bigger ratings draw right now than Roman Reigns. He picked up a bigger number than Roman Reigns did in the ratings on SmackDown, which is and so by that logic you roll with him. I respectively say that's silly to think of it in that way. Sami in a vacuum wouldn't be a ratings draw. He's right now Roman in a vacuum. Nobody in a vacuum is a ratings draw. Sami is part of the biggest pro wrestling, the most complex, most ambitious pro wrestling story maybe we've ever seen, or at least in modern televised wrestling. Mm-hmm. And people are tuning in to find out what happens next. And Sami is what happens next in terms of the story. What's he going to say? What's he going to do? But it's all within the context of this story that is playing out. To claim that he is the guy that people are tuning into, yes, because he's in this story. And they want to see what he's going to do as it pertains to Roman and Jay, et cetera, et cetera. This is not a normal pro wrestling story. And so to claim that, oh, he's the guy and this is who you go with, that's just not how the story works.
No.
Because it's an ensemble. There is no main character. Jay's not the main character. Sami's not the main character. And Roman's not the main character. They are all there's this complex web that's being woven right now, a tapestry. That is the draw. That's the draw. The story is the thing. And it's something that we've wanted to see forever.
Yeah. I know it's kind of like an old school mentality where you look at the business through the prism of numbers, what's popping a number, rather than looking at that number within the context of what's going on. You know, if you just look at the raw number, well, yeah, I guess Sami should be the guy. But if you look at within the context of the story they're telling, as you said, it's all the number pops because people wants to see what the next step in the story is. You know, and you go back to the Daniel Bryan story. And yes, he was popping numbers, but that was also because he was the story. You know, he was the story there. Was his rise back up into title contention after being, denied the title the previous fall.
Yeah.
And there was also that push and pull of WWE seemingly not wanting to really invest in that story. This is not that same scenario.
Right.
Sami is not the whole part of the sole aspect of the story. He's part of it, and it's a major part of it. Yeah. So is Jay, so is Roman, so is Paul Heyman, so is Jimmy.
Yeah.
They all have a part in the story they're telling. And yeah, you can look at one number and think, okay, well, let's go this way. You're not looking at the number within the context of what's going on.
Yeah. And here's the thing. The story itself is not Sami. I'm sorry, but it's not him. I know that this is pro wrestling and titles are often the symbol of resolution. They're the symbol of conclusion. They're the symbol of, I have achieved the goal of this story. This, again, is different. And that's what I think a lot of people have a hard time wrapping their head around. Jay's story is not beating Roman Reigns for the titles. It's not. Jay's story, what is Jay's actual motivation? It's basically to get out of under Roman's thumb. It's to be his own man. Mm-hmm. Roman's entire thing was, if you don't let me provide for your family, you're done. Mm-hmm. And Jay has been mentally tortured and emotionally tortured by that forever. It has nothing to do with the titles. Nope. Sami's entire thing, you say, is to belong. I say it's different side of the same coin, respect. Yeah. When he was a conspiracy theorist, it was all about, I need respect. Why aren't people respecting me? I'm showing everybody why they should be respecting me, and they're not paying attention. He was a conspiracy theorist. He finds that in the bloodline. His thing was never the titles. And right now he's learning that Roman Reigns, who everybody fears, and there's an amount of respect, I guess, with Roman because he has been champion for so long, but nobody respects the man and his methods. Nobody respects a guy who takes his family and manipulates them inside and out. Nobody respects that. Yet he's got the titles. Sami's now learning, I'm not going to have respect just because I have titles. The Intercontinental Championship he thought was going to get him respect. Guess what? It never would have. He's learning that now.
Yep.
Sami's thing is he wants respect, and now he's learning to get that. And I think that's going to be the culmination of his story. And maybe they'll use the tag titles as the symbol of resolution for Sami's story, getting that respect. I think it's going to play in with Jay and Jimmy. And that's the story they're going to tell.
Kevin Owens is now that Sami's on the road seemingly to getting Kevin Owens' respect back.
Yeah. Yeah, right, yeah.
And, that's kind of the first step, I think, with in that process, at least in terms of how it relates to success in the wrestling ring, is he and Kevin Owens are going to have that reconciliation. That's going to lead to them winning the titles. But part of them winning the titles is to feed into the story with the bloodline, and also part of it's the story of Kevin Owens realizing, okay, and Sami too, learning about respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sami earning Kevin Owens' respect back.
I'm still listening. My light.
Yeah,
is
you mentioned the
flickering.
respect and belonging side. They are the two sides of the same coin. Is Sami wants to prove that he belongs so he can earn the respect of his fellow wrestlers, and also prove to himself that he belongs. That's kind of been his story since he come into NXT. I understand people's passion about the story because it's really engrossing and people are really into it, and that's a testament to how well the story is being written. And people are really behind Sami, and that's great for Sami. And hopefully it leads to greater success like world championships down the line. But in terms of the story they're telling, that's not a necessary resolution, I think, to what's going on. At least not at this juncture. All right. Well, Steve's doing what he's doing.
No, I'm here.
You want the mood lighting back?
I'm in dark side of the lighting. I'm dark side of the ring lighting right now. I'll get this thing working again. But no, I agree with everything you said. Now, the idea of where they go from here is kind of clear. I honestly think they kind of just need to do one simple thing. Now, Sami had told Cody Rhodes, I know how the bloodline operates. I know how they do this. And we saw that play out at Elimination Chamber. So Sami's now going to have to come to grips with, I was good enough. I was good enough to beat Roman, but the bloodline wins. And there was nothing I could do to account for that. He's got to be at peace with it. And then endorse Cody. It's like a politician thing, right? He's out of the running now. You're out of the running. You had your shot.
Yeah.
Bloodline won. And you got to endorse Cody. And if he does that, which he might do tonight or next week on Raw, I don't know.
Entirely possible.
He's got to endorse Cody the way Cody endorsed him.
Yeah.
And if he does that, I think the crowd will be on his side.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine with it, and especially once you'll have that, and you'll have Sami's story start to pivot to what happened with Jay at Elimination Chamber, because that'll lead to the tag title match. And if Kevin and Sami beat the Usos for the tag team titles, well, that's the first shoe to drop in the bloodline dismantling. Because as Heyman said, without the titles, bloodline has got nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. That is Cody's motivation. It's the titles. He literally said that. I mean, he can't. The thing is, none of this can be any more clear when he literally says, all I want are some wrestling titles. That's what he wants to restore his family's legacy, to bring that to his dad. That's his motivation. Therefore, that's what he should be going after in the main event of WrestleMania. Sami being there, I don't know, like what. Why really? Why would Sami be there? How would that be advancing his own narrative, so to speak? Just to beat Roman. That's not the story they're telling. That's not the story they're telling. And it's, I don't know. It's funny because look, I know we're all used to it. You mentioned earlier Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's thing was to win the title, to prove that he's not a B+ player. And to be up there with the chosen ones, with Batista, who was brought in to do that, with Randy Orton, and of course with Triple H, the ultimate representation of authority is to defy all that and win the titles against all odds. The titles were the symbol of resolution there.
Yeah.
With Sami Zayn, they are not.
Nope.
So I don't know. But we live in the world of pro wrestling here in the sphere that we're at, and people understand. Well, yeah, man, you got Sid back there. You're definitely in the bubble. And people, that's where they generally, he should be rewarded by being in the main event and winning the titles.
Well,
but the story doesn't.
If Sami doesn't make an appearance in the main event of WrestleMania, not in the match, but towards the finish, I will be absolutely shocked.
Dude, this is going to be the culmination of the bloodline.
Of the whole bloodline story, yes.
And I think, honestly, I'll be honest with you, dude. If Sami does make an appearance, yes, Jay is the guy. When Jay loses the tag titles, that's when he has to understand this was all for nothing. Me bending the knee to Roman has led me to nowhere. I can't even enjoy being tagged. Like, does Jay seem like a happy person being tagged, being a record-breaking tag champion?
He seems utterly miserable 95% of the time.
He's only happy when it's just him and his brother. That's when he's happy. He seemed happy when he finally was able to accept Sami Zayn, because he was like, okay, finally, you know, there's some semblance of
camaraderie there. Yes, genuine,
right.
camaraderie.
You're right. Genuine
yes.
camaraderie.
Yes.
Exactly. Which has been lacking.
Sammy's not there to manipulate him. He's there to actually be there for him. Yes.
Solo's turned into a machine. Jimmy is checked out. He's been checked out since he got back. You know, Jimmy just doesn't want to stir the pot. And so he just does whatever Roman says, and he's made peace with it. Jay can't. And that's been the most fascinating thing about the Bloodline stuff, is that they have been able to so perfectly define the differences between Jimmy and Jay, so that I will never confuse one for the other again. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that alone is a kind of a masterstroke, because before that, they were, you know, as Roman had said, which one are you? You know, nobody knows which one is which.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, good stuff. So yeah, let us know what you guys think about all that in the comments below, or of course, load us up with the chats. We had a super chat here from Lord Blake. Says Sammy winning would have been a good moment, but everything afterwards would have probably been like Hangman and Kofi's reign. I mean, I think, you know, that there was the same sentiment when Drew McIntyre lost to Roman Reigns, and you and I both thought, hey, he had a chance. And they didn't do it there, and guess what? It was the smart move. You know, like they shouldn't have done it there. And it's the same thing here. You know, I think that they did the right thing, and I think that we're not going to need Sami Zayn in the main event. And I think it wouldn't make any sense from a storyline perspective. Anyways, let's talk about AEW.
Let's talk AEW now. You ready?
There we go. Yeah, we're good.
Yes, let's talk AEW then. Yeah. Because they could be maybe planning a new show. So in a recent trademark filing, it seems like they might be. So AEW filed a trademark application on February 15th. That's about 5 days ago. For AEW, I think it's supposed to be Collision, but it's spelled Collison in the filing.
Yeah.
And this trademark filing is for entertainment purposes, including, quote, entertainment services, namely an ongoing multimedia program featuring wrestling distributed via various platforms across multiple forms of transmission media. Entertainment services, namely an ongoing series feature wrestling provided through television and the internet. Entertainment services, namely production and distribution of ongoing television programs in the field of wrestling. And again, while the trademark for the show should be probably Collision, Collision, it is Collison.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this isn't a new show dedicated to former Seattle Supersonic in Oklahoma City Thunder forward Nick Collison, Collison, getting into the wrestling business. Instead, Collision.
You're very happy with yourself about that.
Not Nick Collison. Yeah. He was in the NBA for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't think this is supposed to be AEW Collison, but what do I know? You know,
it'd be interesting if it was. Hey, Nick Collison's getting to the wrestling business.
All Elite Wrestling. Who is this Collison? Maybe it's a different person named Collison.
Maybe.
Probably not just one Collison in the world. Yeah, I don't know. So what do you want this show? Well, okay, let's assume that it's actually called Collision. We could be done with the Nick Collison jokes.
Do we have to?
What is this? What is the show going to be? When would where and when will this air?
I don't know. I mean,
answer me, damn you.
Maybe. Oh, here's an idea. It's AEW's 5th pay-per-view, or it's the show they're going to do in the United Kingdom.
Oh, Collision. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. Collision. Yeah. Yeah, that could be. Yeah, Collision. I don't know. You know, they'd often take from like you know, what do they call they Blood and Guts was War Games. I wonder, is there like, you know, I just want them to bring back WCW's Lethal Lottery, where you get the tag teams and they got to be on different teams.
They did do that, didn't they? Do that?
Did they?
Yeah, I thought they did.
WCW did.
No, I thought AEW did that too.
They did like a tournament with tag teams and they had them all mix up.
I thought
on different teams.
I thought so.
Really?
I thought they did that.
Where was I? Boy, I don't remember that at all. That's crazy.
I remember them doing that, but then again, I've been under the weather for more than a week, so
Wasn't my fault this time. Hey, congratulations! Congratulations on not being under the weather anymore.
Yeah, officially.
Yeah. So, anyways, nobody here. TNA. So people are saying TNA did it, and Deshaun says you're high right now.
No, I'm not. Not.
Everybody's saying TNA did it. We didn't see that.
I feel like AEW did that. They did some sort of tag tournament. And I felt like
I've said before that I want to see that.
So
But I've
long have you said they did a women's tag tournament? That's why I feel like they drew partners. At least in some instances, they drew partners. So maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay. The women's tag tournament was just drawing random partners.
I thought so. At least that was part of it.
Well, this is a little bit different. This is established tag teams, and they got to deal with other people. And then they did, and that was the one. Remember Stevie Ray? After that end of WCW pay-per-view backstage, he got a gun and almost shot Vader.
Yeah, he had beef with Vader. Yes,
he had beef with Vader. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's going to be a pay-per-view name like for the UK. I think that's probably because they said they're going to go there soon.
Yeah. Let me see. Is it a series? Oh, ongoing series. So maybe it won't be the pay-per-view.
Oh.
It's an ongoing series. I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. They got TV deals coming up. Their ratings aren't great.
I guess they don't.
So,
I mean,
he's just
I
like
don't
more
know if TV is necessarily the answer. Just book the TV you got better.
Yeah. Well, why do that when all you have to worry about is
maybe it's the idea is more but better.
More is better. More is better. Yeah. Anyways, we want to pause here real quick. Congratulations. Larson, would you like to say the congratulations here?
Yeah, I suppose I should do this because so then you can get your flowers here. So congratulations. We are in order. Of course, we had the February Friendo Predictions Challenge for Elimination Chamber. Nobody got everything exactly right. Winners, entrants, eliminations from the chamber matches. But we did have 3 people tie for the top score of 23.
Oh, wow.
Who are those people? So those people are. These people get 1 extra point heading into the Big Red Challenge next month for Revolution.
Yeah.
So they get a 1 point head start on everybody else. 3 people. Dwayne Huff.
Yeah.
Antoine Gomez.
Good job, Antoine and Dwayne.
Actually, now that I think about it, I think that's it. I think it's only those 2 people.
Maybe
I can't think of anybody else.
Maybe look at the notes there. Look at the notes.
That's got to be a mistake.
You're the guy who did the math.
Yes, Steve.
Hey!
Tied with Dwayne and Antoine, 23 points. So Steve gets 1 extra point for Revolution.
And then Revolution, baby.
Enforcer had 22 points.
Well, not 23, so he gets nothing.
So each of you had the order of eliminations correct for one of the 2 chamber matches. Like
I really hope
women and he was the men, or vice versa.
I really hope it was the women's because I'm almost positive that with the women's, I simply looked at the match graphic and I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oscar.
Oh, really?
On one of the I think it was the women's chamber match.
Yeah.
I forget if it was order coming out or order being eliminated. I simply went down the line.
Yeah, that's funny.
I was like, what? I'm not going to sit here and try to do all this three-dimensional math and shit. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. So thank you, everybody. We had 75 entrants, I think, 79.
That's awesome,
like that.
Man. And you know what, dude? We are on the road to AEW Revolution, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks. And anybody who is a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson. And anybody who is a YouTube channel member, which, Larson, I know you had a hard time breaking that news. Would you like to break the good news that we have here about channel memberships?
After looking into it for seemingly weeks, if not months, if you want to gift memberships on YouTube, you can do that now. We can do it. We figured it out. All you got to do, if you're here right now live, there's underneath the chat, there's a little dollar sign here. Got to press that, and then down at the bottom, right above close, it should say membership gifting. We figured out how to do it. We can gift memberships now on YouTube. This is very exciting, and it's something we plan on implementing pretty darn soon. So that's great.
Absolutely. So yeah, all members, YouTube channel members, and which we had a ton additional. Like we got a ton of new members.
We got 40 more during the chamber.
Right.
Watch along, yeah.
So as a YouTube channel member and as a $5 and up patron, you get access, of course, to our weekly bonus episode. This week we're going to be doing Overrun on Friday, and it's going to include Numbers Don't Lie on the Young Bucks. That's
Hardys.
cool.
We already did the Young Bucks.
Oh, we did the Young Bucks. Yeah, the Hardys this week. That's right. So we're going to be doing that. And then, of course, we take like another topic and we just talk about that stuff. We answer a bunch of your questions as well. And that is every single week. Not last week because we forgot about it because it was a pay-per-view week. But, we try. So there's that. And then there's also participating in the predictions challenges. So yeah, you can do that. I'm trying to give some memberships and it's not working for me.
Oh no.
It says membership gifting. Okay, buy membership for multiple viewers. I click on it and then nothing happens.
Really?
I'm going to try it as WrestleJuice. Let's see if WrestleJuce can buy some memberships here.
You're trying to do it from our...
I was trying to do it as us.
Oh.
Membership gifting. Oh, here we go. Let's see here. I'll gift 5 memberships from WrestleJuice. Let me see if this will actually work here. Yeah, buy. Sure. Do that, please. Let's see if it worked. Hey, there we go. WrestleJuice is gifted 5 Steven Larson Going In Raw WWE and AEW podcast memberships.
Here, I'll do some too.
Oh, that's fun stuff right there.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. So there we go. Enjoy your memberships, everybody, on behalf of WrestleJuice. Yeah. Anyways, was there anything else? Oh, yeah, I did want to do this too. You get a shout out on the show when it happens. So we're going to pause here to shout out some the new YouTube channel members we got from the stream. Warm Soda, Hitaru Joseph, Sheldon Jackson, Bill's Mafioso, Jim Jimson. I'm going to do it as JR. Jack Williams, Mario Cisneros, SXE Wolverine. Oh, there we go. Steven Larson gifted 5 memberships. Man, thank you. Oh, man. Bill Mafioso, Jim Jimson, Jack Williams. Oh, I already did these ones. Broke Dude, Maggie, Bangers, Duckman, Legendarius, BC, Dark Reaper, Angelic Wolf, Barilla G, Johnny Night Moves, Chaz Shaw, Adam David Dodd. I know Night Moves is great. Ryan Schindler, Antonio Coneo, Steve Ratzeloff, David Hernandez, The Media Jack, Ryan Chad, Nicholas Price, Doc Rollins, Monster Mash, Good Boy, Michael Davidson, Juan Villa, Carpinoctum, Chief Frog Splash, J. Villalobos, Elmer Wells, Dark Knight, Jen Port. Thank you very much. Well, man.
Thank you so much. Everybody.
Oh, man. Everybody I just named, go in the bathroom, crank one out. Jeez, JR. God damn it. Gosh darn it.
Just JR's the worst.
Man. Oh, wow. Brian Moore says, I just got dropped in from a Cultaholic video, was gifted a membership. Well, you're welcome, fantastic. Brian. Oh, man. Brian Moore.
Awesome. That's awesome. Now it works. It works
now, everybody.
It's great news.
So load up those gifts. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue on.
Yeah, speaking of someone who had a good day, Mercedes Monet had a good day on Saturday. Battle of the Valley. What'd you say? Monet. So, following her New Japan debut this past weekend, Mercedes Monet was asked by TV Insider about working with other promotions, to which the newly crowned IWGP Women's Champion responded, quote, "The thing is, I'm a free agent. Doesn't matter with New Japan. I can go anywhere. I can go to New Japan, Impact, Mexico, Germany, Europe. Potential matchups are endless. Same for New Japan. I know they have partnerships with CMLL, Impact, AEW. To be a fan and watch all these matchups from all parts of the world is amazing. I know there is a little woman in Impact I would love to face one day, Mickie James. We'll see what it is. We'll see what is in the stars." Noticeably absent from her response is any talk of WWE. But in an interview with Mark Raimondi, Monet was asked about a possible return to the company. These transcripts come to you from Fightful. She said this, quote, "I guess people like to say never say never. You never know in life. Never knew life would take me here, but I always have to follow my heart. Wherever my heart takes me is where I'm going to go."
And if by heart she means Monet. Yeah, the Impact thing would be I don't know, like if what we've heard about her appearance fee in New Japan, it's pretty hefty.
Oh, apparently Meltzer says that's not it.
Oh, it's not
100,000 number? No.
Oh, okay. All right. Did he say what it was?
No, but it wasn't that.
Oh, okay. Half of that? 3/4 of
I
that?
don't remember saying, but
99,000.
like he was saying, it was close to what Jericho got at first. I think that was him that said that, and he backed that. Later he said, no, it's not. It's not
Okay. I still would think it's probably a hefty fee.
It's probably a significant sum, yes.
When is Impact's next big, like, actual pay-per-view?
That would probably be... So no surrenders this month.
Yeah, but isn't that like a... Is that a freebie?
So Bound for Glory is in October. Slammiversary is in July, or is it the other way around?
Fuck, man, I don't know. What about?
But yeah,
Victory
if they do Mickey versus
April, is April a big one for them?
At Slammiversary. Oh, Rebellion. That's the next one.
Okay.
That's the next one. That's the next actual pay-per-view.
Oh man, the Enforcer gifted 5 subs to the 5 memberships. I gotta get used to that.
Thank you, Enforcer.
Thank you, Enforcer.
Well, I mean, if it's a situation where she really wants to work with Mickie James, Impact has money, and it would, I think, behoove them to try to get that match to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I know they have money, Monet. They've got to be. You'd think they'd got to be pretty impressed and maybe motivated by the metrics on what Mercedes brought to New Japan. The memberships went through the roof of their own service, New Japan.
I mean,
World.
the show in San Jose sold out basically immediately after her match was announced. So yeah,
it was very quick. So you got to think, that might be worth the investment. Of course, then you got the pickle there because Mickie James is their champion. And as we saw, Mercedes just collected her first title in her first match right out the gate. So, I don't know if Mickie would drop that to like Masha or something like that, and this would be above titles. But certainly I think it's a dream match, and I think it'd do wonders for Impact if they're able to finance Mercedes coming in.
It's pretty awesome that Mercedes would mention Impact in this interview because we love watching Impact. The women's division, Impact, is fantastic.
It's stacked. It is loaded.
It is absolutely stacked with great talent and a lot of dream matches for Mercedes and Impact. But they don't get the spotlight that a lot of other wrestling companies do.
Yeah, right.
And to think of watching Mercedes versus Jordan Grace or Masha or Mickie, it's the prospect of that happening is pretty awesome. And I hope we see at least some of those matches go down because I think that'd be great.
Yeah, no, I agree totally. So Battle of the Valley went down this past Saturday during Action Coast Wrestling Hot Stuff. So I only watched a little bit of it, but you watched the entire thing, didn't you?
I watched the entire show. Yep.
Right.
It was a solid show.
I watched a couple of the matches. Yeah.
It was a fun kind of mashup of some of the stuff they'd been doing on Strong. Some stuff obviously from New Japan, and I didn't think there was a bad match on the card. Top to bottom, a really fun show. Of course, Mercedes Monet versus Kyrie was kind of like the major draw.
Yeah, right.
They gave that match the most time. It totally delivered. It started out with more methodical pace, and then once it kicked it really into gear in the second half, they went all over the place. They went up by the stage.
Yeah.
Just a really, really, really fun bout. The finishing sequence was really cool. Fun match. Eddie Kingston versus Jay White was tons of fun. Really good story there. And then the main event, I don't think Okada and Tanahashi could put on a bad match.
No, that's
they can get off the plane jet lagged and still put on a 4.5-star match probably.
Yeah. No,
the one this weekend wasn't up there with their classics, but just for the finishing sequence alone, it's worth checking out.
The interesting thing about the Mercedes match is watching her outside of WWE and just have the freedom to do more things than they generally sort of allow with the WWE style of wrestling. But yeah, no, and it's going to be fun to see her match up with a bunch of other, names and see what she can do and see how creative she can get in the ring. She's always been a very creative wrestler.
Yes.
And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that continue.
Yeah, she's always been very good at taking different styles and melding them together.
Yeah.
Taking elements from, various wrestling approaches and kind of making them her own.
Yeah.
It was, and her and Kyrie have really great chemistry. It was a really fun bout. Show kicked off with a 8-man tag match. You got Team Kushida, consisting of Kushida, Kevin Knight, the DKC, and Volador Jr., taking on the team of Josh Alexander, Rocky Romero, Mascara Dorada, and Adrian Quest. So Rocky and Volador Jr. have a thing going on in CMLL.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen clips of it. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
The bits they had in this match were really good. Of course, Kushida and Josh Alexander have a match at Multiverse United Mania weekend. It's the Impact New Japan joint show. It was a fun match. Pace was really good in the end. So Kushida escapes the C4 from Josh Alexander, puts Josh Alexander in the hoverboard lock, but they're not the legal competitors. That's Kevin Knight and Adrian Quest. So Kevin Knight hits Quest with a massive DDT to get the win. And then Rocky and Volador start throwing hands a little bit. Rocky rolls out of the ring, and then Volador grabs the mic and challenges Rocky to a hair versus hair match.
Oh, that's fun. That's good stuff. By the way, I just posted up on our community tab a questions thread for this episode.
There we go.
So if you want to ask us a question, do it there.
Do it there also. Well, if you're on the YouTube, smash that like button, please.
Oh, man, we got Paul calling in a little bit later.
Yeah, we got
and we got Triple H calling in about, we obviously on the heels of that huge Elimination Chamber show. I'm sure everybody here is anxious to hear what he has to say about everything. I could talk to him
about the possibility of Sami getting put in the main event at WrestleMania. So
there you go. Perfect. But, we like to get the likes up to 200.
Yeah,
so
it makes him happier.
It makes him happier. He likes that 200 number.
Exactly. Next, we had Kenta versus Fred Rosser for the
New Japan Strong
Openweight title.
Yeah.
Fred Rosser has done a fantastic job with his career post WWE.
He's got to be up there in terms of guys who have reinvented himself to the degree that it's like, man, you have really done. It's like him, Cardona, like Drew McIntyre is probably number one of all time. Somebody who went outside, like when they left WWE, they came back like a different human being.
But Fred's been doing great work. He's great promo. Been put on good matches. Kenta needed help from Bullet Club member and one of Steve's favorite wrestlers, Juice Robinson, to get the win here.
Like a roll of quarters, right?
Yeah, a roll of quarters. Punched Rosser with it. And then Kenta hit a GTS to get the win. And then noticeably, Phil Brooks, CM Punk, was in the house watching the show. And then Kenta tweeted at him. Said something along the lines of, happy my number one fan was there to see how a real GTS is delivered.
Oh, man. That's good.
I miss the days when Kenta was promoting his book, though.
I know. I do miss that. But, you got to move onwards and upwards. The clips are still out there of all that stuff.
Oh, that was such good stuff. Next, West Coast Wrecking Crew, someone that we've seen out here. I believe were they on the Prestige show we went to?
Yeah, I think so.
And we've seen Royce Isaacs wrestle out here before.
Yes, we have.
Taking on Motor City Machine Guns for the strong tag titles.
I did appreciate that. I know you didn't watch Impact last Friday or last Thursday or whatever, but when they set up a tag match between, I forget who, and Motor City Machine Guns, and it was Dirty Dango and Santino doing it. And Dirty Dango was like, yeah, you guys are going to have a match against Motor City Machine Guns. These guys.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
They West Coast Wrecking Crew made reference to this during the match, too.
Okay,
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then Ian Riccaboni, he was great on commentary, especially for the last two matches. He does a hell of a job making matches feel meaningful.
Yeah, he does, yeah. No,
like
absolutely.
on main event matches, all he does, he just kind of speaks slower.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know what it is, but like speaking a more hushed tone, like an old boxing match or something.
Yeah.
It makes you it helps you feel the weight of the moment.
He's really old school. He's very old school.
Yeah, he is.
And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, he is. And Scott D'Amore was on commentary for the opening bout.
I know. I heard that. I was like, hey, there he is. I miss Scott D'Amore on my TV.
Yeah. So after Motor City Machine Guns get the win in a really fun match, there was this bit where Royce Isaacs had Chris Sabin up in the stalling suplex, literally did an entire lap around the ring, the outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Just carrying Chris Sabin.
Strong dude, yeah.
Yeah, he is. Then we had Eddie Kingston versus Jay White. Of course, loser leaves New Japan stipulation. A wrinkle for Eddie, though. If Eddie lost, he could come back to New Japan, but he would have to ask Jay White's permission. to do anything.
Which is kind of awesome. Yeah, this is a match I went out of my way. I was like, okay, if I watch any of these matches, it's going to be this one in the Mercedes match, and that's what I watched. And yeah, this was awesome. It was just great storytelling. And they made, in Lost, they made Jay White look like $1 million. There was that bit where Freddie goes for, I'm sorry, Freddie. I'm thinking of Freddie Valentine. Eddie Kingston goes for
not a rattlesnake match, Steve.
Sadly, goes for a fist bump, and JOI just looks at him and hawks a big loogie at it. And then it was like, and then Eddie laid him out with like the back fist, and then like what's the driver? The driver he does?
Oh, the Northern Lights driver, yeah.
Yeah, the Northern Lights driver. And he kicked out. Everybody thought, this is going to be it. He kicked out of that. Then he gives him a bunch. And then he, did the thing where he sort of hugged him. And he said something probably very nice to him in his ear. And then he gave him a bunch more back fists, and then the driver again. And then he won.
Yeah, to get the win. And afterwards, like, Eddie rolls out of the ring and is like trying to get the crowd to cheer for Jay.
Yeah.
So he leaves, and then Jay eventually gets to his feet. Crowd's chanting, "Thank you, Jay." He's calling for a mic. He has it in his hand. And Dave Finlay gets in the ring and blasts him from behind, I believe with the shillelagh.
Yeah.
Picks up the mic and says, "Jay, you had the company by the balls and you let it go." He says, "Fuck your era." And they kind of ultimately said, "Hey, get a nice clean shot on me. Jay, get out of here." This is my ring. This is my home.
So, okay, a guy's leaving. Jay's leaving. What, so there's not going to be like a match here. What was the point of this, do you think?
Well, I believe that Finlay and Jay have some history, I believe.
Okay.
I think they were might have been Young Lions together.
That sounds right.
I think.
Yeah.
So I believe they have some history. So I guess, it's an interesting choice to take a heel who's leaving, a Jay White, knowing at that moment he's going to get a face reception.
Yeah, right.
Because he's out the door, and then having another heel, David Finlay, come and get that heat for beating down the heel that's leaving the territory, more or less,
Yeah.
But David Finlay's not a member of Bullet Club.
I think he's probably going to be. I think that's my read on this. I think he did this. He said, "Fuck your era." It's the Finlay era. It's the Fin Juice era. He's going to join Juice Robinson. He's in Bullet Club, his old buddy, and they're going to go out drinking. But Juice isn't going to drink anything, ironically, because of his name. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like a natural. It's always a guy Jin leading. Is that an appropriate term anymore? Can I say that anymore? A foreign guy. I'll just say that. Right. Leading Bullet Club, generally speaking. I know Kenta was supposed to be leader for a second, but I don't ever know. I don't really acknowledge that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's the leader now. There's a power vacuum right now in Bullet Club. So let's see who is it going to be. House of Torture stepping up. They seem more concerned
was Jay
with
acknowledged as the Bullet Club? He was acknowledged as the Bullet Club leader prior to this, right?
Yeah.
Usually, like everybody jumps them out when that happens.
Yeah. That's tradition. Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, I don't know. I just figure Finley's there. They've been warming up to Finley. Like he's been getting more of a spotlight lately.
Yeah.
In New
he had a
Japan
good run in the
past
G1.
Years.
So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I could see that happening. Maybe him and Juice will be co-leaders of Bullet Club. That was like the worst era I've ever heard of.
The obvious leader for Bullet Club, of course, is Dick Togo.
That's like, it's funny. There's comedy with that. Don't get me wrong.
That's why I bring it up.
This is a serious pro wrestling discussion, Larson.
You're thinking of a different show, Steve. Then after that, we had a Filthy Rules match between Filthy Tom Lawler and Homicide. They just took the ropes down. No rules.
Oh, a blood sport thing. Okay.
Yeah, but it was also more or less a hardcore match.
Oh, okay.
There was doors.
Oh, okay.
Lawler got put through the door with a Death Valley driver.
All right. It seemed like a pretty cheap door, like a flimsy door?
Yeah.
Like a LA Fights door?
Yeah, it definitely was an LA Fights door. Finish saw Tom Lawler get the win over Homicide here. Straight jacket knee to the back. Locks on a choke. And then Homicide passes out. Yeah, it was fairly violent.
Mm-hmm. Is there blood in this one?
Fairly enjoyable watch. No.
All right. No. Not as violent as Dustin Rhodes then, because Dustin Rhodes' blood. Okay.
No. Then we got Clark Connors versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the TV title. I like commentary mentions this. So apparently one of Zack's strategies, since all these TV title matches have a 15-minute time limit, he kills time.
I love that he brought up the history of Regal doing that as well. He said Regal was able to retain over his TV title over big names because he would just outlast him. You don't lose if you just go to the limit.
Yep.
And I like that too. Yeah.
But Zach was fairly dominant in this match. Clark had a few instances where he got some of his stuff in, but yeah, there's this one sequence. So Connors has a sleeper on. He's looking for a power bomb. Sabre reverses that to a triangle. Connors reverses that to an ankle lock, but then Sabre reverses that to a really nasty looking Fujiwara armbar. And Connors has to tap.
Did you see Connors' shoulder? It looked like it was going places.
Yeah.
It was. Oh, look at that big stretch back there. She heard Zack Sabre Jr. said, "Somebody say stretch." Zach Beckett must have heard us talking about Zack Sabre Jr. because they re-upped their. Oh no, new member. A new member was Zach Beckett here. Thank you very much. Welcome to Membership Club.
Is for real.
Oh, there's another big stretch. Look at that. What are you doing over there? She's anxiously awaiting the return of her mom. Lacey's coming back today.
Oh.
She's on road to house now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So after Zack Sabre Jr. successfully retains, we got Mercedes Monet taking on Kyrie. Mercedes had some Hanakamura tribute gear.
Yeah, that was really cool.
That was pretty cool. This match went everywhere. Went up to the stage. Mercedes ate a power bomb off like a road case or something through a table. Just a lot of really good stuff here. Early on especially, Mercedes is really working Kyrie's arm. And it would kind of come into play for the finish. So after Kyrie puts Mercedes through the table up by the stage, she brings her back to the ring, goes up top looking for insane elbow. Mercedes gets her feet up, so Kyrie pretty much drops the elbow on Mercedes' feet. So then Mercedes goes up top looking for a frog splash. Kyrie gets her knees up. Kyrie locks on a bank statement. I don't know what Mercedes is calling it now. And then Mercedes has to bite her way free. So they're both sitting on the mat back to back. And then they both try to go for backslides, kind of so they stand up and they kind of jockey for position. Well, that's kind of Mercedes' starting position for a new finish. She hits that to get the win. Yeah. She also hit a Bailey to belly during the match. Bailey was there.
Bailey was there. Yeah. Did they show her in the crowd?
No.
Although did they show Punk in the crowd?
No.
That's good.
Though after Mercedes hit the Bailey to belly, the crowd was chanting Bailey because Bailey was sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
A bunch of people, the crowd turning around and cheering and stuff. So then anyways, after the match, Mercedes is presented with the title. Her and Kyrie shake hands, hug. You can tell Mercedes is really overcome with emotion.
That's awesome, man. That's great. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm curious, like, how long, I guess she says, she's just going to be going wherever she wants to go. So yeah, this stretch of her career will be really interesting to see how long it lasts, because you know how it goes sometimes especially when you're a high profile name, it's really easy to do everything you possibly can in a fairly quick amount of time. And so it'll be interesting to see if she eventually, like a year from now, where's she going to be? Will she have done a stint in AEW? Does that interest her at all? Or is she going to be like, okay, well, I traveled the world, I did all this stuff. It's either Hollywood or WWE, but she seems to really love wrestling. So I'd be kind of surprised if she actually walked away from wrestling, at any point, like for good, or to go and focus on Hollywood or whatever.
Yeah. You'd imagine that wrestling will always be a part of what she does, based on the amount of passion she has for it. I mean, it's great that the wrestling industry is at a state now where wrestlers, if they want to go and are in a position they can do this, all right, I don't want to be beholden to one company. I want to go and do what I want to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because for the longest time it seemed like that wasn't necessarily the case. Like, you had to work for one of the major companies, otherwise you weren't going to be able to pay your bills. The creative freedom of being able to completely like reinvent yourself as well has got to be appealing to some people. You go into the WWE, especially if you go in there and you're not much of a name, you're basically just sort of given everything, and I know that like these days it might be more of a collaborative process because Triple H is, in charge. And I know in NXT, it seemed to be a bit more of a collaborative process than like Vince McMahon saying, you're a dancer, Yeah.
But the ability to go out there and be like, okay, I get a clean slate. What can I do? What should I do? That's got to be appealing to some of the more creative wrestlers out there.
Definitely. Then we got our main event, Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight title. Again, these two guys can put on a really good match, probably in their sleep. The ending sequence especially was a lot of fun. So Okada hits a Michinoku driver. He's looking for the Rainmaker. Instead, Tanahashi counters with a kick to the knee. Of course, Okada maintains wrist control.
Oh, yeah.
So he's looking for another one. Instead, Tanahashi, whoop-ha, slaps him.
Oh, wow.
Okada's looking for another Rainmaker. Tanahashi hits him with a sling blade. Goes up for a high fly flow. Okada gets to his feet. Drop kick. Looking for a Rainmaker. Instead, Tanahashi counters with a roll-up. 2 count. So then Okada, in like really quick succession, hits a Enziguri, a Cobra Flosion, and then a Rainmaker. Only took one this time to get the win.
Oh, wow.
So then after the match, he's got a promo, and he says, hey, Tanahashi, let's reform our dream team and go after the tag titles.
Oh, shit.
Chaos members Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, the current tag champs, that match is happening at the anniversary show.
Wow. Ooh.
That's pretty huge.
That is pretty big.
When he finishes up, Mercedes comes back to the ring. She says, thanks San Jose, thanks New Japan and Stardom for making my dream come true tonight. And she says, Okada, you and I have a lot in common. Maybe we're the true dream team.
Oh, ooh.
Maybe we get a team. Okada and Mercedes Monet at some show.
Mixed match challenge.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. Yeah, who knows what they're going to do with that multiverse Impact New Japan match.
Multiverse United, yeah.
Yeah, that thing. All sorts of crazy shit going on.
Maybe we should just spend all the WrestleMania weekend here like watching wrestling and streaming the whole time.
I'm down with that, dude.
There's a lot of shows.
I'm cool with that. As long as like, I'll clue in the wife, be like, hey,
you're not going to see me this weekend.
That room is going to smell. It's going to smell.
I've already been here more or less a whole week,
I'm down to do that. Yeah, there you go. John the drummer says 72-hour stream. No, we'll put together a schedule of all the stuff that we're going to watch. We're already going to have to watch a bunch of stuff anyways. Next week, because of the AEW Revolution, we're going to do, it's going to be a watch-along week. Dynamite watch-along, Rampage watch-along, and then, of course, Revolution watch-along as well. So maybe leading up to WrestleMania, Raw watch-along, whatever.
Well, I'd probably do SmackDown, go home SmackDown.
Yeah.
For sure, the Friday before. And then, of course, the 2 days of Mania, and then Raw after Mania. Because I have a feeling this year it might be something,
dude, this year is absolutely going to be something.
So that's going to be the start, and then whatever shows that happen to be streaming here or there that look of interest, and we can just Saturday and Sunday just watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll put together a schedule. That sounds fun. We'll make a thing of it. We'll make it, especially now we got gifted memberships here on the YouTube.
Yeah, you can make a thing of it.
We'll make a big thing of it. Absolutely.
Make a thing of it. The AEW decided to make a thing of Rampage this week. They had the earlier time slot before the Friday NBA All-Star festivities, the celebrity game and such. Way more story development in this 1 hour Rampage than we got in 2 hours of Dynamite on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's totally true. I think they're trying to put understanding that they were the lead-in for the All-Star game, they were like, okay, we probably need to put our best foot forward and actually, do stuff because people might tune in for that. I don't know what the time is. Oh, we're about 8 minutes away. Usually around 1 o'clock, like ratings info comes in.
Oh, it's the holiday though today. It'd probably be late.
Ah, that's right. It's gonna be like Wednesday or some shit like that.
Yeah. It'll probably be a little late. So we got some story developments. Yep, for some reason. AEW doesn't do DQ finishes very often. I can only think of one.
Okay, yeah.
They've done prior.
Yeah, they don't do a lot of them.
And listen, no disrespect to Dustin Rhodes. Man is an absolute legend in the wrestling business.
Yeah, it goes outside.
That being said, he's not exactly a winning wrestler at this point of his career at AEW. He's lost plenty of matches.
Yeah, he's there to put people.
You got Swerve, who you should be really trying to build up as one of your top heels.
Yeah,
you would think him beating Dustin Rhodes would be a given. He can do the post-match beatdown after he wins, and then have Keith Lee return.
Yeah, he should beat him with relative ease.
Yeah, but that didn't happen. Instead, we got a DQ finish. Dustin Rhodes defeated Swerve by DQ.
Yeah.
Then you got the post-match beatdown of Dustin, and then you had Keith Lee return.
Well, yeah, it's not just that he beat him by DQ. He was like the idea
He's on the verge
was
of beating him.
he was literally on the verge of pinning him clean.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not what?
No.
That shouldn't be the way you book Swerve at all.
No.
Oh, Mr. Dope is here. I'm sure he has something to say about that.
Swerve should be beating everybody you put in front of him. Everybody.
Yeah, he should be like an actual threat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought that was really silly.
It was really a pretty huge creative misstep. It definitely was.
Yeah, they used the Elite to do a basketball game wrestling match.
I thought that was actually pretty fun, though.
I thought that some of it was fun. I thought that the tip off was a great idea.
Yeah.
And then
that
that
bit where
turning
Dante
into
did the move and threw the basketball at Kenny's front area while doing like a 450. I thought that was pretty cool.
Some of it just got me freaked out because it's like I know they're concentrating on doing a crazy move while doing something else with a basketball, and it kind of took me out of it. So yeah, dude, I mentioned in the pre-show I've got a conspiracy theory.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
I've got a conspiracy theory, and I want to do a video either here or Wrestle Juice or someplace where we ask people what are their wrestling conspiracy theories, past, present.
Mm-hmm.
I have a theory that, because you know how Phil was in the crowd there at New Japan, that got me thinking. I'm like, man, why haven't we heard about a buyout? I'm like, well, he's in the crowd at New Japan. What if, when the Elite came back from their suspension, they told Tony Khan, hey man, this isn't gonna work. We're gone. Once our contracts are up, we're just telling you right now, we're gone. We're done. And as a reaction to that, and this is completely, I have no insider info. I'm just sort of, it's late in the show. Who cares anymore? Tony Khan's like, well, Punk is a ratings draw, or he sees him as the plus delta. So he didn't release him because there was all that talk about a buyout. And we're going to hear about a buyout. And that never happened. We know of. Yeah. And I think if it happened, we would have known. I really do. I think the Elite are on the way out. That's why they've barely been featured. They're the trios tag champions, but that's because they're the name of the company's AEW. You have to sort of keep them around, but they are barely featured. They're on the sidelines basically, and they should be like the biggest act. So makes it look like they're still around, but really they're just doing their own thing. They're in the gym playing basketball. They shoot some segments and then they have a match on Rampage. The Elite are on their way out. Tony Khan knows this. He's keeping CM Punk. That's my current conspiracy theory.
All right. I mean, I could easily explain the Elite not being involved in the show more regularly because Tony Khan doesn't know how to do creative very well. If you listen to Kenny Omega on the Swerve podcast, he doesn't talk like somebody who's got a foot out the door.
Did you listen to the actual podcast?
I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened to a chunk of it. I read a lot of
I read the transcripts.
Yeah,
but that didn't seem to me like somebody who isn't on the. That sounded like to me like somebody who has to cover for the fact that he's already out the door, and he's just sort of fiddling backstage.
See, you're trying to find things there to fit your narrative, Steve.
I think I'm gonna be proven right on this one.
We'll see when there's announced they sign new long-term deals.
Matt literally said this was the worst 2 months of my life, and there's one person responsible for that, and that's Tony Khan.
I mean, they could blame CM Punk for that.
They could blame the guy that bit Kenny Omega, but Tony Khan's the one who put them on suspension. I think that should. I'm telling you, I was right about Cody. I'm right about this.
Well, I mean,
I was 1,000% right about Cody. I was 1,000%. When Cody left, I was like, this is not going to be good for their creative. And it's been in the dumpster since then.
Hasn't been that great. We can agree on that. It looks like House of Black is next for the Elite for those trios titles. That's cool.
You put those titles on the House of Black, and then the Elite, that's another step towards their exit from the company.
I was thinking today, last night, that after the Elite lose the trios titles, that Kenny should get in the program with MJF. Like MJF, his thing has proven he's the best, and he's got to get in the ring with everybody who's been considered, at least in AEW, at one point the best wrestler in the world. Of course, Kenny is on that list.
They should be lining up former champions for MJF. They should have been doing that for who did Hangman took it? Did Hangman ever have his I know they're doing a thing with Mox right now.
No,
but
it was
champion.
It was Danielson.
It seemed like it was gonna be Mox, but the Mox was out or something.
It was Danielson, and then it was Adam Cole.
It was Adam Cole, yeah.
And
then it went straight to Punk. I know he fought like Lance Archer or whatever.
Yeah, he had a match, but like in terms of protracted.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
those are the two. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be. They should do that. Kenny should be main eventing stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
He should be. But he's already told Tony Khan that he's leaving the company.
In that same Swerve podcast appearance, he was talking a lot about how important storytelling is to wrestling, but at the same time, he's like, I realize not everything has to be a huge story, and right now our role as trios champions is essentially to provide the party for the show. Like we go out there, we do a fun match.
Yeah.
He says it's like a situation that they're all comfortable doing. It's cool, fine doing it. But yeah, I agree. Ultimately, they got to come back around to him doing another Singles run for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Sure. I agree totally.
Like a feud with MJF makes all the sense, especially if the idea is they're kicking this off with Danielson. MJF is going to start taking on everybody who's been current or formerly known as best wrestler in the world.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the odds are that House of Black are actually going to win these titles of Revolution?
They 1,000% should.
Yeah, they absolutely
The odds that it
should.
actually happens, I don't know.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
1,000% should. Give them something to do.
Yeah.
I still don't know the deal is between Eddie and Ortiz and House of Black. That whole storyline is kind of a mess.
Dude, Eddie Kingston's been one of the biggest ball drops in AEW. He really has been. And I think he said as such. And I'm always like, is this like for real, or is this like a shooter or work type situation?
Yeah.
But I'm like, you could like easily that could be a real thing, because he's like just he's not featured that much. I'm like, why are you not putting Eddie on your TV?
I know.
Every single week.
I know.
Yeah.
Show kicked off with Top Flight versus the Elite. As mentioned, they all had their all-star jerseys on.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball was heavily featured. The match started with a tip-off.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of fun stuff. The Elite get the win after Nick takes out Dante and AR Fox on the floor with a step-up corkscrew splash. Kenny hits Darius with a V-trigger. One Winged Angel to get the win, and afterwards, the Elite, they're in the ring. They got the titles. House lights go down. Malachi and Brody show up on the stage, bathed in red light.
Yeah.
Then lights go down again. House lights come back up, and they're gone. And the Elite are staying in the ring all, what? What was that?
What do we do now? Oh, we're going to drop these titles, then head to New York. After that, we had a Guns interview. Colton says, this is typical of the Acclaimed. They don't want to have to win any battle royals to get in this match. They just put themselves in. Austin says, that's the Acclaimed. That's if the Acclaimed even make it a Revolution. As for the other teams, we don't care because we're at the top of the division. This is the Gun Show time.
Welcome the Gun Show.
Welcome to the Gun Shows.
Something along those lines, yeah. Then we had Mark Henry. Actually, Steve, you should take a chunk of this. Mark Henry is interviewing Orange Cassidy.
God, did you write this verbatim? I hope you did.
Pretty close. So Henry says, Orange, you're on one of the hottest streaks in AEW history. 18 wins in a row, which is actually a pretty damn impressive feat.
It is.
And he says, last week you defended your title main event of Rampage, and then he was interrupted by Wheeler Yuta. And what does Wheeler Yuta have to say?
I've got some business to handle with you, Orange Cassidy. I also won on Rampage. He was insufferable in this one. I also won on Rampage last week, and the best thing I ever did for myself was leave best friends and join the Blackpool Combat Club. They're so cool, and they can teach me more. He literally said, they're three of the coolest people there are, and they can teach me more than you ever could. You replaced me with a literal clown, and you let Trent bully me. He says you let Trent bully me. What do you mean you let somebody stand up? What?
Stand up for yourself, Wheeler.
Why would Orange Cassidy be blamed for another grown man? You're a grown man, dude.
Step up to Trent. Slap him in the face.
You let Trent bully me, so I'm going to take that title from you.
And then Orange is like, yeah, I wasn't there to teach you. I was there to be your best friend, but clearly we're not anymore. If you want this, come take it.
I'm going to do it. Oh man, yeah, I was like, God, I hope I should have wrote that down myself. I was this close. If I had a little bit more motivation, I was gonna take that clip from Rampage and then dub my own Wheeler Yuta voice over his.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, but who has time for that? I still have to cut the reactions video. Yeah, man.
Then we got Daniel Garcia versus Ricky Starks. Again, the story that's being told in reverse.
Yeah, dude.
This is a fun match. Ricky Starks gets the win. Of course, Starks beating Garcia should be the next step in him finally getting his match against Jericho, winning that, but he's already beat Jericho.
Yeah, but he's going to do it again, man. We're going to run it back at Revolution in a weird stipulation match.
And then he'll win that one too, probably.
Yeah.
So Garcia's working over Stark's leg throughout the match. Eventually locks on a Dragon Tamer. And Starks is reaching for the ropes with Sammy Guevara. Runs down the ringside to pull the ropes away from Ricky Starks. Well, Action Andretti, someone we haven't seen in several weeks, runs down, fights with Sammy up the ramp. Eventually, Garcia is trying to put the Dragon Tamer back on Ricky. Instead, Ricky rolls him up. Garcia kicks out of that. Starks hits a spear, and then Rochambeau to get the win. And then afterwards, Sammy comes out to commentary, grabs a mic, and says, "Hey, Tony Khan, I want a match against Action Andretti next week."
Yeah, so Guevara will pick up that one, I would imagine.
Yeah, you'd think so. You would think so. We got an Evil Uno promo next.
Yes.
He says, "I can't to your face, Mox, eye to eye, toe to toe next week on Dynamite. You get Evil Uno.
Yes.
You think you can clean house like it's nothing? Evil Uno is going to bring respect back to the Dark Order."
Yes.
Hard time believing that's going to happen.
Probably.
I feel like Mox's going to wipe the floor with him.
Yeah, this should be like an uncomfortable squash. Like Mox, he beats just the living shit and then he takes his mask off. Mm-hmm. Like puts it on and, I don't know what he does with it. He goes and throws it in the toilet somewhere or something.
Well,
like you don't say if you're dark,
if you're he pees on it or
yeah,
something
if you're Evil Uno, you don't step up to Mox. I'm sure Evil Uno seems like a lovely guy. He does the video game stuff and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the characters we see on the screen.
Yeah. I mean, you have to give him a certain amount of credit for having the moxie to do it.
I see what you did there. After that, we had Jade Cargill beating Vert Vixen, which is a great name with a Jaded.
It took all about like 45 seconds.
Yeah. Pretty efficient win here.
Like,
Jade Cargill.
I mean, I know the answer to this question, but why is Jade not doing more?
She's out there on Jade Cargill Island. It's nice out there, man. The people are beautiful.
I mean, she's even talking about in interviews. I want to get involved in like main event stories in the women's division.
Tony Khan didn't care about that. He cares
like I said, I know the answer to my own question. But
yeah.
Gosh.
No, I know. You're just putting it out there. No, he's out there worrying about Ariel Helwani showing up on WWE programming. He doesn't care about that. You got one of the biggest potential crossover stars in Jade Cargill. And he's like, no, it's fine. Who is, like, does she have a challenger?
No.
Yeah, man. Is Statlander going to come back for Revolution? It's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe.
There's nobody else. Like, there's nobody else. That division is empty.
Else.
It's empty.
Yeah. She's basically beaten everybody except for, like, Britt, Tony.
Like, dude, here's the thing. She is, along with the Acclaimed, she is the other legitimately massive success story from AEW's actual homegrown talent. Yes. And right now there is a story in the women's division being told about homegrown talent that Jade Cargill is not involved in.
Doesn't make sense. The whole story you can expand the scope of that story to involve so many other people. They just don't do it.
I know.
Just don't do it. I don't get it.
They did bring back the pre-match interview, though.
They did. Mark Henry had 2 interview segments in the show.
Yeah.
And that's great. So we got Dustin Rhodes Swerve here. So Swerve says the Rhodes aren't as innocent as they look. Matter of fact, this is about a lack of respect you've been showing me and Mogul affiliates. Men go to war over respect. Men die for respect. Are you willing to, Dustin? In fact, you might have to. And then he asked Dustin, where's Trench? I don't know where Trench is at. Been trying to call Trench for a week. Haven't heard from him.
Donde está Trench?
Dustin says, nobody gives a damn about Trench. You have to deal with me. You crossed the line talking about my family. Sometimes you have to go to a dark place so you can see the light. Hell is coming for you, Swerve, and I'm coming with it.
Ooh. And then we had... and then we had that Mitch. Dustin bled a lot here, man. Swerve bust him open.
That spot where he got busted open was great.
Yeah, that was rad. Yeah.
Getting drop kicked against the barricade. That was good stuff.
Yeah. But in the end, what's his face? Dustin hits what does he hit him with? He's got like a Crossroads Final Reckoning, and then he goes for the pin. Looks like he's about to win this shit. And then what's his face? Parker Boudreaux pulls him off the pin So Dustin wins by DQ. Parker puts Dustin back in the ring. Swerve wraps a chain around his fist, punches him in the head with it. Security gets in the ring. Parker fends him off.
Oh,
Swerve,
Parker destroys the security.
Yeah, he kills him. And then Swerve tells Parker to get the cinder block from under the ring because they had placed a cinder block there. And so Parker gets it, and they're like, oh, my God, they put Dustin's head on the cinder block. Swerve goes up. He's about to, murder this guy in front of everybody here in Texas. And then, basket is glory, for he is limitless. I know it's a different song now.
It is.
So Keith Lee comes out, and he stops that from happening, Larson.
It's good to have Keith Lee back.
It's great to have him back. Yeah, it's awesome.
Now if we can just get some interesting stories going on between... really just Keith Lee.
Slow down there, buddy.
This is all about wishful thinking here, okay?
Okay.
You got a story here with Swerve and Keith Lee. You'd think it would write itself, but then you got Swerve losing by DQ to, no disrespect, Dustin Rhodes to Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, I love that. Like, everything was like, was Shivani on commentary? JR Shivani. I know JR was. He's like, I couldn't wear one of them shirts because I'm too fat. Yeah. Which is pretty funny. But funny. Shivani was like, yeah, no, we remember, we were around, JR, when Dustin Rhodes made his debut, and now 54 years later, here we are. And I'm like, hold on a second. He's in his 70s.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I know he's 54 years old. It's just kind of funny. He said, 54 years later, here we are.
It is Dustin's fifth decade, I believe, in the wrestling business.
It is, yeah, because you can take, if you go on the tail
80s,
end of the
90s,
like 89 probably or whatever. Yeah. I think Edge is also in his fourth decade or something like that.
Oh, he got started in the 90s, yeah.
I think they mentioned that. Or maybe, yeah. Yeah, when did Edge make his debut? Like 90? It was probably mid 90s, huh? Yeah. Anyways, let's answer some questions. I was able to successfully put up the thread on the YouTube. So if anybody also in Twitch has questions, then let us know.
Yeah, I'll hop on the Patreon in a moment. Alex Silva here with the super chat says, you see The Miz hit a last second half court shot at the celebrity basketball game? I did see that. Yes, we did see that. Chances are if something happened in the internet wrestling thing, then we've actually seen it. White Brownie says, if you have a question about it, let us know. White Brownie says, Kenny and Swerve both talked about wrestling, wanting AEW to do more romance storylines, given from past romantic storylines. WWE done it. Proved to be a big ratings draw. That's actually true. Some of the cringier romantic storylines were actually big draws. Yeah.
Could you see Tony Khan possibly being open to it? Or do you think he would be? It was like Lashley and Lana and Miro had that storyline, and it was a big ratings draw.
Even though it was awful.
By that logic, should Dave Meltzer then want them to put the WWE title on?
Oh, that feud should be in the main event, yeah.
that feud should have been the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah, by that logic, if numbers, ratings numbers is all that matters, yes.
Yeah. Could you see Tony Khan being open to romance storylines?
I mean, he'd have to be open to, like, storylines to start with.
Yeah, he'd have to be open to, like, a 3-act structure.
Yeah, like some actually well-developed storylines with some layers to it, which we haven't really seen since maybe MJF Punk, definitely since Kenny and Hangman.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
They could have that now with the homegrown talent versus the former WWE talent, but they just don't do it. It's still just a premise.
I missed the middle part of that, so I jumped from romance to you saying they could have that. Oh man. Roy Costin says, with Cena being announced for the March 6th Raw, do you think we see the start of Theory Cena? Yep.
Yeah, that's why he's there.
Yeah, that's totally going to be why he's there.
That's
absolutely.
Why he's there.
1,000%. Mason Martinez says, after Edge and Beth hit Shatter Machine, do you think the revival? Sorry, when I say the revival, you're supposed to say yeah.
Say yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, that needs to be a thing now. Is leaning towards coming back to WWE?
No, it's a shout out because Edge, when he was training for his comeback, I believe it was Dax and Cash to help train him. So
they're like neighbors and they're friends.
Yeah, they all live in North Carolina, I believe. Yeah,
I would think that's probably more like, hey, we need a cool tag finisher because we're doing a mixed tag match. What should we do?
Shout out to our friends FTR. Yeah,
and Shatter Machine is a really cool looking move.
It is a cool move. Organ Grinder asks, can AEW slow down on that wrestling trope of the bad guys beating someone up only for the good guys to come in and make the save? They do that 3 times an episode now. What little storytelling they got going in AEW, a lot of it's very formulaic. It's It's just enough to motivate matches. That's really all that's going on right now.
This is a good question from our champion Maggie. Says, how much overlap do you genuinely think there is between AEW and WWE viewers? Like, if Stark showed up on WWE, do you think the crowd would react much? Oh man,
I would think there's a portion of WWE audience that doesn't watch AEW and vice versa, but I would think there's a decent size audience that just watches wrestling. Wants to watch good wrestling.
Let me ask them in the arena. Because that's where like the pops would be.
Yeah.
Because I think that obviously the arena crowd is a little bit different from like your typical.
Yeah, watching at home. Yeah.
What percentage, and we have nothing to base this off of except for just what we see. What percentage, and I'm curious about people in the YouTube chat or if you're watching this on demand in the comments, because this is a good question. I like this. What percentage of people in the WWE audience watches AEW? I feel like it's bigger than the percentage in an AEW audience of people who watch WWE.
Oh, maybe 65%.
You think 65% of people in a WWE crowd
they might not necessarily watch AEW on a regular basis, but they might follow what's going on.
I think it might be a little bit. I think Triple H sort of got a little bit of the benefit of the doubt back, maybe from some of the AEW crowd. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's all. And I know AEW hadn't had like a big event. I guess I'll find it. Well, no, I won't. Like when I went to the ACW show, everybody that came up to me and said, "Hey," they were like, "Hey, so how was the Elimination Chamber?" Everybody was very excited about Elimination Chamber. Yeah. But then if something big happened at like in AEW, then I'm sure people would be asking the same question.
So like, for example, if I'm not going to include the Elite because they had a reputation built up before AEW even started. But like if Hangman, MJF showed up on Raw.
That would be I think MJF would be probably in terms of like people who haven't been in WWE in a major way, MJF would probably be, the Elite would be the biggest deal.
Yeah, that's why I kind of separate them out. But they also had established brand before AEW.
Right.
Did to a certain extent, but he's really built his star up in AEW. That's why I mentioned him in this kind of same breath as MJF. I think if they showed up on Raw, they would get a pretty massive reaction because even if you don't watch AEW on a weekly basis, you know who they are.
Main event level people in AEW would get a big reaction. Absolutely. Yeah, they would. Starks is a bit different. Starks hasn't been like a main event level guy for like, yet. He will be. Hangman, Hangman might be an exception. I don't know what kind of dude, you and I love Hangman, but so much of the sentiment I've seen just sort of out there in the ether is not similar. A lot of people like Hangman, but I don't know how much. I don't know. I feel like just WWE would have to dress him up a little bit. They'd have to make a sort of a big.
Yeah, his character wouldn't really fit with what WWE does per se.
Yeah.
But then again, we've seen a lot of really, really layered, multi-dimensional stories going on, specifically with the Bloodline. There's the macro narrative we have that, but there's also the stories going on between like different people, and that's all multi-layered stuff. And that's what, in my mind, makes Hangman interesting. Is he's there's more going on than just, hey, I'm tough guy,
Patrick Sparks in our chat just said that Rocky passed.
Oh,
I'm so sorry to hear that, Patrick. My heart's breaking as we speak, man. I'm so sorry to hear that, dude. If you need anything, we're here for you.
Yeah, absolutely, Patrick. Anytime.
Oof. I'm so sorry. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? No, it's a great question, though. I don't know. Craig Hadley asks, who should Mercedes face at Wrestle Kingdom next year?
Julia.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Hua Long Heavy would have a good answer.
I think she's top champ in Stardom right now.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, the red title, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's good. But yeah, I don't know. Like, would they do like a title for title thing?
Who knows? It seems kind of early to do a title unification, but who knows? Enforcer here says Brian Zane mentioned in his Elimination Chamber review that the U.S. title could be a three-way with Theory, Rollins, and Logan Paul. How would you feel about that instead of what we have thought for the last few weeks? I mean, I guess there's a possibility. It just feels like with Logan coming in and costing Rollins the belt, that's Rollins saying, all right, I have to take care of Logan Paul first before I turn my focus back to the U.S. title.
I think that Rollins is too big now for the U.S. title. I mean, he had it. He made it a big thing on Raw. I think that he's going to be doing world title stuff after that. And I think that with Theory walking around saying the champ is here so much, it just seems clear. I mean, the other way, the triple threat, that'd be fine. That'd be cool. I don't see that. I don't think there's any clues to that. I don't think that that's going to be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb says, random, but if Brock Lesnar was cast in the MCU, who do you think he should play?
Juggernaut.
Oh, what a great answer. Yeah, it's a good one.
Colossus.
In the MCU. Colossus is a good answer. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you wouldn't need to CG the Hulk anymore.
It's true.
Let's make him the Hulk. Oh, the Thing. Yeah, the Thing would be good. The Thing actually works.
Yeah, Thing would work.
Because, like, he's, Ben Grimm is supposed to be kind of salty because he's just nothing but rock now.
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie Brock Venom. That's a good one.
Oh, that's good, too. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Dope says Magneto. Okay. Rhino. That's good.
That's good.
I don't know about Dr. Doom. Galactus. Yeah. Galactus is probably the right answer. He's a big dude. Oh, wow. Ronan Room says, what are Luke Owen's contract details? That is...
we really shouldn't be getting into that on
we can't really talk about that publicly. But, believe me, the tampering is in full effect. He's well aware. All he knows that we are actively trying to tamper with Luke Owen's contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like 90% very optimistic that this is going to happen. We're going to have to figure out how to make another
or we get like a cease
window
and desist letter
here.
at some point.
We'll have to make another window here. Well, here's the great thing is, because we're in a different country, we can tamper all we want.
I don't know if it actually works that way.
There is no such thing as international law. I've looked it up. It's great. If you're within a border, you can do whatever you want, then go to a different place, and then they can't. There's nothing.
You need to do some better research.
There's no, the idea of extradition, that's not real. That's a fake thing.
Wow.
Oh, man. With that being said, we're going to bring in Triple H because I'm getting myself in trouble here. Here we go. I got lots of paperwork. Hello, hi. Finally, my goodness gracious, you guys are going late today. It's already interrupting my sleepy time, my nap, my pre-raw nap. Call time is in about 2 hours. Then we're going to get this show on the road.
Hi, Triple H. How are you?
Don't interrupt my... All right, I'm done. What's your question today, Steve?
Before we get to the Raw preview, I got a question regarding Sami Zayn. Obviously, we had.
Why weren't you at the press conference? You should be asking these questions at the press conference. Everybody's there. Thurston's there. Don't interrupt me. I'm gonna lead off a roll call of everybody that Thurston was there. Ariel Helwani, very unbiased journalist. Many people will tell you he's very unbiased. Yeah.
All right. Odds
you hear what the
Zayn...
snowman said? You hear the snowman, as we call him now, snowman. Snowman, come together in my plan. Save me.
What are the odds Sami Zayn gets put in the Mania main event, Triple H?
0. It's not part of his story. You know what we do here in WWE is character and story. That's what we do. What is it? No, he's not going to be. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The Bloodline is a big story. Cody's our guy. And Sami Zayn not in the main event. And people need to really pay attention to stories and shit because that's what we're telling here at WWE. Doesn't make any sense.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, any more questions?
Let's
don't
do the Raw
interrupt my...
preview. See if I can think of this. About Kenny Omega. You going to sign Kenny Omega?
Yeah, that's already happening. They've already listened. You want a scoop? Do you want a
absolutely.
scoop? Are you ready for a scoop?
Yeah.
Here's the deal. They've already told the Snowman that they're leaving AEW. They're gonna rebrand the whole damn company because the Elite's gonna be gone. They're gonna be WWE Elite. That's what's happening. We're gonna change the name to World Wrestling Elite. And AEW, they're gonna have to change their name. The early word is they're gonna change their name to All Championship Wrestling because Tony Khan loves the Snowman. Loves the WCW. So
the ACW. That's the same name as the promotion we have.
You guys got a promotion?
Yeah, it's called ACW, Action Coast Wrestling.
That sounds like a pissant company. Is that a pissant company? You coming for me? Listen, I've got a sledgehammer at hand.
It's a small local.
Don't interrupt me threatening you with lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. You bring me out here,
you can't.
And now you're trying to get my secrets to running a company.
So sue us just because we have our own wrestling company. Come on.
Oh, pissant wrestling. APW. Well, that's in the Bay Area. They got their own thing going. Wait,
APW is in the Bay Area. We're in the Sacramento area.
All right. All pissant wrestling. That's what you are. Yeah. So that's happening. The Elite are coming to WWE. World Wrestling Elite.
All right.
That's happening.
All right. You want to talk Raw tonight? There's a couple things announced so far.
Oh, man. The world is eagerly anticipating tonight's Monday Night Raw. It's President's Day Raw.
Yeah, Austin Theory looks to add Edge to his ledger, so Theory had an open
I
challenge.
get it. I wrote that one myself. He's going to add Edge to his ledger.
Yeah.
You can't spell ledger without Edge. I don't think Austin Theory even knows what a ledger is. Does anybody even have a ledger? What's a ledger? It's like record keeping for banks and stuff, right?
Yeah, it's like a book with paper in it. You just write stuff in there.
You write like numbers and shit. Yeah, counting. Yeah. So Austin Theory is gonna add Edge to his accounting book.
This confirmed that Austin Theory keeps track of all his matches and who won and lost and the time and all that kind of stuff.
He's a meticulous, very detail-oriented guy. Yes, he does that. So, no, obviously what's going to happen here, Finn Balor's going to interfere in this match. It's going to distract, and then we're going to get Edge versus the Purple Demon. Although he might call himself the Purple Monster by that point.
Especially if he paints mostly his face purple, it'd be a purple.
His head would be a purple head.
Then we got Mustafa Ali and Dolph Ziggler to throw down the name of respect. This match has been percolating.
Oh my God, it's about time. This is like a fucking WrestleMania moment for these guys here because this feud has been never ending.
Yeah.
It's
been going on a while.
Yeah, it's been going on for much too long. After this, they're going to be done. And then they're going to form a tag team. They're going to be together. It's actually not. I wouldn't mind seeing that tag team, to be honest with you.
Good matches.
Yeah, good matches. They're both great sellers. They should just do matches where they just lose a lot, but they stay together because everybody's like, wow, you guys sell great.
Well, I mean, they need to. Okay.
No, trust me. People don't want to see these guys win. They want to see the blues. Nobody's wanted to see Dolph Ziggler win anything since 2012.
I mean, you might have a case there, but come on.
The highest paid Brooklyn brawler ever.
Wow.
Yeah, you heard me. I'm the game.
All right. Well, I won't take up too much more of your time, Triple H. I know you got a huge Raw to prepare for.
Gosh darn it. Is there any more French toast? I need lots of maple syrup on my French toast. Yeah, I'll be in there in a second. Maybe like warm it up a little bit in the air fryer. Break it down. All right, I gotta go. I'm gonna go have some French toast down.
All right, enjoy your French toast.
He's already gone now. How did that go?
He's out of control today, man.
Really? Well, it's Monday. It's Monday. He's riding on a high from Elimination Chamber, I would imagine. So what's going on with the Elite? Are they going to WWE or what?
Yeah, he says done deal. You're changing.
It's a done deal. They're going to change the name of what? WWE or AEW?
Both.
It was going to be WWE Elite. Makes all the sense in the world.
And then it's going to be all championship wrestling. It's going to be ACW.
Oh, what?
I know.
They're going to be like
they just drop the Elite and just be all wrestling.
All wrestling, yeah. They're going to be like the fourth company called ACW. There was the Freddie Valentine company. There was another one that I happened to stumble upon.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what it's called. That might have been all championship wrestling. I don't know.
But a large national wrestling company called ACW?
That doesn't bode well for us. We have to rename the company.
To rebrand the entire company, I know.
That's fine. Probably should have done that from day one. What are we going to call it?
Friendo Unified Championship Wrestling.
Friendo Unified Championship Wrestling. Fuck wrestling. That's right. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Anyways. All right. Well, that's going to do it for the show today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.